Looks like we already have our convoy of rail fan photographers.
Like last month they moved that.
I know. Laura's dressing as a red panda. She got red panda costume for one. And then Russell has some sort of costume. I don't remember Philly's. So they were. They're going to stop again and back up. And they're going back on. That's why it's a 5 to 8 hour run.
In 1874 by the Eastern Railroad, designed by Nathaniel J. Bradley, a nephew of an Eastern Railroad executive. He'd studied architecture in Russia and as a graduation present was allowed to design the station. North Conway Station, the Roundhouse Turntable and Freight House are all on the National Register of Historic Places. Just a few announcements to make here. For those of you in coach where the windows can be opened, those of you in the open car, please keep your hands, heads, arms, legs, and bodies inside the car. To everyone, please do not ride in the vestibules. Positively no smoking or vaping is allowed on the train or anywhere on railroad property. We do have restrooms in just about every car. If you have a question as to where, check with a member of the train crew. Please be considerate of other people. Keep your conversation low so people can hear the narration. And please keep the conversations on your cell phones to a minimum. Snack bar is located in the Mount Webster. That's the middle car in the train. They have coffee, tea, soda, bottled water, adult beverages, packaged snacks, candy, and hot dogs. Trash cans are located in the vestibules. That's the areas between the cars, as well as next to the snack bar. As you walk through the train, please close the doors behind you. This keeps the heat or air conditioning inside and allows it to work more efficiently. Best views up in the notch. This is for those of you who are staying on the train. Best views up in the notch are on the right side of the train. When we get to Fabyans, you'll have to change sides with the people across the aisle from you, as so everyone gets to see and enjoy the best views. We're just coming to our crossing of Route 16 and 302, which is the main highway through North Conway. We then come to Whitaker Woods, which is a town of Conway conservation and recreation area. They have trails through here. People can hike, bike, run, walk, and jog. During the winter, it's popular for cross-country skiing. Mention that we have a convoy of cars chasing the train. These are rail fan photographers getting pictures of the train since this is a special run. We are entering, the track we are on right now is over 100 years old. It was part of the Conway branch of the Boston and Maine Railroad. Tracks put down in 1872 by the Portsmouth, Great Falls and Conway Railroad, a subsidiary of the Eastern Railroad, later merged with the Boston and Maine Railroad. Passenger service on the Boston and Maine into North Conway ended in 1961. Station was closed and boarded up with a for sale sign on it. Freight service continued until 1971 when all train service ended. In 1974 saw the incorporation of the Conway Scenic Railroad, formed by three Conway businessmen who wanted to preserve the railroad tradition as well as to provide scenic railroad journeys to visitors to our valley. Get off at the station coming up on the right and spend the entire summer at one of the grand hotels in the area. Most of the hotels are gone now. The station is now owned by a ski club. Once we're by Glen Jackson Station, we'll cross the Ellis River and a steel truss bridge. Ellis River drains from Lost Pond up in Pinkham Notch at the base of Wildcat Mountain. We are just coming to Glen Jackson Station. A big gray building with green and white trim on the right. Yeah, just after Glen Jackson Station, we'll go over the Ellis River. Once we're over the Ellis River, we'll come to the grade crossing for the access road to the Jellystone Ellis Campground. Route 302 is visible to your right. To the left in the distance, beyond the fields and forest, you'll see Mount Attitash and part of Attitash ski area. And you continue to see the cars at the rail case of the train. With their cameras. Route 302 is now on the right. Further up on the right, Route 302 curves away from the track. You look up the highway there, you see Mount Stanton and Mount Pickering, southern end of the Mont Alvin Ridge. We are just about to go over the Saco River and a little bit of the Rocky Bridge. Also, as you look out the right side, as you go to the Saco River, see the southern end of the Mont Alvin Ridge, Mount Stanton, Mount Pickering, Mount Langdon, Mount Parker, Mount Resolution. Mont Alvin Ridge goes north to Mount Washington. Follow the bank of the river for a distance before it turns away. Where the river turns away, you can look upstream and out into the right and see the roof of the finely covered bridge.
It's okay.
The lower part of the covered bridge partially headed by the Route 302 highway bridge, which is just in front of it. We are now coming to Goes Bridge, where Route 302 goes over the track. Originally a grade crossing called Cook's Crossing. It was such a dangerous crossing that the state and the railroad replaced it with an overpass in 1928. The overpass lasted into the early 2000s. It was in such poor condition the state had to replace it. The new bridge was completed in 2008. Goes Bridge, Route 302. See all the people chasing the train in their cars. Coming up on the left is the west leg of the Y. Then further down the yard on the left is a former Maine Central roundhouse. Portland and Ogdensburg Railroad originally built it with 6 stalls. Maine Central cut it down to 4. When originally built, they had a turntable here, but it was taken out when the Maine Central purchased 2 steam engines, too long for it. The Y was Post 72. After my Post 72, we go over a grade crossing. It is a private driveway into the house. You see through the trees on the right. After we go over that private grade crossing, we come to Second Iron, a steel truss bridge over the Saco River. During the summer, the area underneath the bridge is a popular swimming hole. Just coming to the private grade crossing. coming now to our crossing of the Saco River. This is Second Iron. And after Second Iron, we go over Cobb Farm Road. Cobb Farm Road leads to a residential area. Further up on the left. Route 302 is now behind the trees and foliage on the left side of the train, on the other side of the river. This is Cobb Farm Road. Enter Hart's location. Hart's location was land granted by King George III of England to Thomas Chadbourne for his services during the French and Indian War. Thomas Chadbourne later sold the land to Richard Hart. Hart's location extends up the valley of the Saco River all the way to the gateway of the Notch. Weather's cooperating. Elevation 6,288 feet. Trailing off to the right of Mount Washington is the northern end of the Mount Elvin Ridge, with two summits on it, Mount Isolation and Mount Fabyans. We are coming to Frankenstein Trestle. Okay, Mount Washington is not visible, but you can see the northern end of the Mount Elvin Ridge. Down in the valley to the right, you can see a couple of buildings. They're part of the Dry River Campground. At the far end of the trestle, we'll pass through a rock cut. Here you'll see on both sides of the train the holes used to break up the rock to create the cut. The holes are straight vertical holes, 2, 3, and 4 feet deep and about 2 inches in diameter. The holes were drilled out by hand using steel drills and sledgehammers, then filled with black powder, which was ignited to split apart the rock. That was the technology of the day when the railroad was built in the 1870s. After that, we go over Avalanche Brook, so named for the landslide that killed the Willey family. Upstream on Avalanche Brook is Ripley Falls. At 100 feet high, it is the second highest waterfall in New Hampshire after Arethusa Falls. Bob Morris, the engineer, and Oscar Clemens, the fireman, were called in on a day off to help a long freight train up to the Notch. Engine 505 was one of the few engines the main central ever had problems with. As it pushed the freight up to here, something went wrong and the boiler exploded. Flipped the engine over, putting it back towards Bartlett. It's rolling down the embankment. Both crewmen were badly scalded and were rushed back to Bartlett for medical attention. Both men passed away at about the same time, 6 o'clock that evening. Sadly left a total of 16 children without a father. Bartlett being the town that it is, several friends and families in the town took care of these children. The monument coming up on the right, first of all, there's a plaque on a granite slab, and about 50 yards beyond there's a large sign, brown with yellow lettering, marking the site of the 505 tragedy. Where the tree's gone, you can see across to Mount Webster across the way. See the slides coming down off Mount Webster. Now west of the southernmost peak of the presidential range. We're just going by the 505 Memorial. Kedron Flume comes up next. A stone arch bridge or culvert. Quarter mile after that, we go by Mount Scenic 2. Up on the hill to the left, after Mount Scenic 2 is a quarry. We're building of the railroad, which outrocks the construction of the railroad, including the stone arch. If you go over Moore's Brook, you look down to the right, you'll see a lake. That lake is directly across Route 302 from the Willie House Historical Site. Willie House Historical Site is the headquarters for the there's a headstone among the rocks next to the tracks reads Cal Kingman, killed here September 28, 1884. Cal was brakeman for the Portland and Ogdensburg Railroad. He was sitting on a brake wheel protruding from a flat car, having worked a 24-hour shift and being tired, fell asleep, was pitched over and killed on the spot. He was buried in Bartlett Village Cemetery near Rogers Crossing. Friends from the Portland and Ogdensburg Railroad erected a sign so that he would not be forgotten. Okay, we are well less than 3 miles from our stop at Crawford's. You may get off here at Crawford's. The doors at As we come to the bridge, we'll pass through a rock cut. As we go out onto the bridge, look to the right, across to Mount Webster, down the valley of the Saco River. Crawford Dodge is a U-shaped valley, having been carved out by glaciers during the last ice age. At the far end of the 7th, 1875, by General C.M. Anderson, President of the Portland and Ogdensburg Railroad. Once we're through the gateway, on the right you'll see Saco Lake, source of the Saco River. Saco River is just a brook at that point. It passes underneath a pedestrian bridge through a culvert under Route 302 that passes down between the highway and the railroad. Really see Silver Cascade now. And a little bit further on you'll see Flume Cascade. And up here, this is where the Crawford House, one of the grand hotels, once stood. Crawford House was located on the knoll just west of the station. It burned on November 20th, 1977. The AMC owns Crawford Station, built in 1891 by the Maine Central Railroad. The station is now a gift shop and information center run by the AMC. And as I mentioned, the station is closed for the season. Area off Route 302. Presidential range hidden in the clouds. The Mount Washington itself would be to the right of the hotel. The weather's better. You can see the line of the cog railway going up Mount Washington. To the left of Mount Washington is Mount Clay, Mount Jefferson, Mount Adams, and Mount Madison. To the right, Mount Monroe, Mount Franklin, Mount Eisenhower, Mount Pierce, Mount Jackson, and then Mount Webster. Of course, you saw Mount Webster at Crawford's. Forms the eastern side of the Crawford Dock. Going by Fabyans Station and the Cog Railway Access Road and the Ammonoosuc River.